Imagine building an entire empire in silence, only for the man you love to spit on you in public, not knowing he was humiliating the very woman who signed his salary. This is the story of Soraya, a quiet wife with a hidden kingdom, and Daxon, a proud husband who believed she had nothing. But today, his arrogance will crumble. Today, the masks will fall. Stay with me as secrets unfold, pride collapses, and a woman rises from pain to power. Because when a man disrespects the wrong woman, destiny writes a different ending. Soraya stood frozen beneath the blazing afternoon sun, her breath tightening as a warm splash hit the front of her cream dress. She blinked, once, twice, unable to comprehend what had just happened. Her husband, Daxon, stood before her with clenched teeth, glaring as if she were a stranger blocking his path. People in the marketplace paused, their murmurs swelling like distant thunder. Daxon's spit glistened on her dress, sliding slowly down the fabric as if mocking her silence. "Next time move out of my way," he barked, not even looking at her face. He shoved past her, dust rising around his shoes. Soraya's fingers trembled, not from fear but from a deep, rising ache she fought to swallow. She lifted her eyes, watching him walk away, surrounded by two of his friends who burst into careless laughter. "Daxon, wait," she whispered, though her voice barely carried. He didn't turn. To him, she was nothing more than a nuisance, a random woman crossing the street, someone beneath his attention. What he didn't know, what no one in that bustling crowd knew, was that Soraya was not the quiet, ordinary wife she pretended to be. For 3 years she had built an empire under a different name, hidden behind layers of trusted managers and legal shields. The grand new company that recently hired Daxon, the very place he bragged about daily, belonged to her. And today was the first day she planned to reveal her true identity, but fate had chosen to humiliate her instead. A soft voice from a tomato stall reached her. "Madam, are you all right?" Soraya forced a shaky smile. "I'm fine. Thank you." But she wasn't fine. Her heart thundered with pain, humiliation, and a cold, rising resolve that even she could feel shifting inside her. Soraya walked slowly to her car, each step heavy with thoughts she could no longer control. She sat behind the wheel, locked the doors, and let her composure break. Tears slid down her cheeks, but they were silent. Not the tears of a broken woman, but of one finally pushed past her limits. "He spat on me," she whispered, staring at the stain on her dress. "My own husband." She replayed the scene, watching his face in her mind. The irritation, the arrogance, the complete disregard. Her phone buzzed. A message from her personal assistant, Malo. "Madam, all board members have arrived. They're waiting for you." She wiped her face quickly, adjusting her makeup with trembling fingers. This was the day she was supposed to reveal herself to her staff for the first time. The mysterious owner of Elthra Holdings, a company Daxon worked in as a senior supervisor, a role he got through favoritism from a cousin. He never knew his salary, bonuses, and privileges came from the same woman he belittled at home. On her way to the office tower, Soraya's mind drifted to the nights Daxon mocked her dreams, calling her too soft and too naive to achieve anything significant. He had no idea she traveled at dawn, went to closed-door meetings, built networks, and made decisions that shaped the city's economy. "Let him see who I really am," she murmured. As she entered the company lobby, all staff turned respectfully. Malo rushed to her side. "Madam Soraya, everyone is ready." She inhaled deeply. "Good. Today the masks fall." But beneath her calm voice was a storm, and the memory of spit sliding down her dress fueled every step she took toward the executive boardroom. The boardroom fell into silence as Soraya entered. 12 executives rose to their feet instantly, bowing their heads in respect. At the far end of the table sat the company's interim CEO, Daxon's direct superior, a man who had never met the true owner. Malo placed a file on the table and stepped back. "Ladies and gentlemen," Malo announced, "allow me to formally introduce the founder and principal owner of Elthra Holdings, Madam Soraya Alvin." A wave of shock washed over the room. Chairs creaked, mouths parted, pens dropped. The CEO himself stood abruptly. You're the owner, he stammered. We had no idea. Soraya raised a hand gently. I preferred it that way. She took her seat at the head of the table, her voice steady, but carrying an undertone of emotional weight. For 3 years, I've watched this company from behind the scenes. I trusted all of you to run it well, and you have. Now I step forward because a new phase begins. One of the directors swallowed hard. Madam, should we inform all staff immediately? Yes, Soraya replied. But before that, bring me the list of supervisors due for evaluation today. I want to review one name in particular, Daxon Alvin. The room tensed. They recognized the name. The CEO cleared his throat carefully. Madam, Daxon is respected, but also notorious for his temper. We heard there was an incident in the lobby last week. Soraya's jaw tightened slightly. There was another incident today. He will be evaluated. Her voice softened, tinged with pain she hid behind authority. And I will handle it personally. The executives exchanged nervous glances. No one dared question her decision. The revelation had begun, and Daxon had no idea the woman he disrespected was about to sit across from him as his highest superior. Later that afternoon, Daxon arrived at the office, wearing his usual confident stride. He had no idea his life was about to shift beneath his feet. He greeted coworkers loudly, cracking jokes, bragging about how his department couldn't function without him. They should just make me manager, he boasted. No one works harder. His friend Moreau chuckled. Careful what you wish for. Word is the real owner is coming out of hiding today. Daxon rolled his eyes. Whoever that is, he'll see my value. Before he could continue talking, an announcement echoed through the speakers. Supervisor Daxon Alvin, report to conference chamber 1 immediately. The tone of the message was unusually formal. Maybe they're finally recognizing greatness, Daxon joked, straightening his shirt. But when he entered the chamber, his confidence evaporated. The room was dimly lit except for a single spotlight illuminating a long table. Seated at the head was Soraya, dressed elegantly, poised, unreadable. Board members stood respectfully behind her. Daxon frowned in confusion. Soraya? What are you doing here? She didn't smile. Sit down, Mr. Alvin. The formality stung him. He hesitated. Why are you speaking like that? What's going on? The CEO stepped forward. Supervisor Alvin, this is Madam Soraya Alvin, the sole owner of Elthra Holdings. The silence was crushing. Daxon's mouth fell open. What? That's impossible. She's my wife. She can't. Soraya's eyes locked onto his. Sit down, Daxon. His legs weakened. He lowered himself into the chair, heart pounding as the reality finally clawed its way into his mind. His wife, his quiet, gentle, underestimated wife, was his employer, and she had summoned him for judgment. Soraya opened a file in front of her, her expression unreadable. Daxon, we are conducting your performance review. But before we discuss your work ethic, there is a personal matter we need to address. Daxon swallowed, trying to compose himself. Soraya, listen, whatever this is, you could have told me. She raised her hand sharply. This is not a conversation between spouses. This is a meeting between an employer and her employee. You will answer as such. His breath trembled. He'd never heard her speak with such authority. Earlier today, Soraya continued, her voice firm but wounded, you spat on a woman in public. You didn't apologize. You didn't even look at her face. Tell us why. Daxon froze, color draining from his skin. I didn't know it was you. I was stressed. The sun, the crowd, it was a mistake. Did the woman deserve it? She pressed. No. I mean, I didn't think. Exactly, she interrupted. You didn't think. The board members stood stiffly, watching the exchange, without interference. Soraya closed the file slowly. Daxon, you treat strangers with disrespect. You treat staff members with arrogance. You bring shame to this company. He leaned forward desperately. Soraya, please, I was wrong. I swear I'll change. Her gaze softened for the first time, but it came with deep sadness. I believed in you, Daxon. I hoped you would grow. But you've made a habit of dishonoring anything you consider beneath you, including your own wife. He opened his mouth, but no words came. Soraya continued quietly. The humiliation you gave me today opened my eyes. The room grew painfully silent, tension coiling like a tightened rope. The judgment was coming. The only question left was how hard it would fall. Soraya rose from her seat, her movements slow and deliberate. Daxon, she said, her voice steady. I built this company with my own hands while you slept comfortably, believing I was nothing more than a simple woman with small dreams. He shook his head quickly. No, Soraya, I didn't know. You hid it from me. I hid it, she replied, because you were never a man who supported ambition. I wanted to see who you truly were when you believed I had nothing. Her words hit him like blows. You failed the test. Daxon stood up suddenly, tears gathering in his eyes. Soraya, I am begging you. Don't do this here. Don't embarrass me in front of all these people. Let's go home and talk. Soraya's face tightened with pain. You embarrassed yourself the moment you spat on me. Your wife, your employer, the woman who fed your ego with money you never earned. He dropped to his knees. The board members shifted uncomfortably, but Soraya didn't look away. Please, he whispered. I'll change. I'll fix everything. Just don't destroy me. Soraya took a long breath. I'm not here to destroy you. I'm here to hold you accountable. She turned toward the executives. Prepare the termination letter. Daxon gasped. Soraya, no. Please. My whole reputation, my income, everything depends on. That is precisely the problem, she said softly. You depended on the wrong things. He reached for her dress, clutching the hem desperately. Soraya, don't throw me away. She stepped back gently. You threw away my respect long before today. His sobs echoed faintly in the chamber. But Soraya's heart, though breaking, had already decided the path forward. And it did not include protecting his pride. When the termination documents were placed on the table, Daxon looked at them as though they were a death sentence. His hands trembled violently. Soraya, please, I can't survive this. I'll lose everything. People will laugh at me. I'll be ruined. Soraya sat back down, her expression surprisingly calm, though her eyes shimmered with emotions she tried to hide. Daxon, this isn't revenge. This is consequence. Something you've avoided for too long. He rubbed his face with shaking palms. I treated you badly, I know. I acted like a fool. But you're my wife. Show me mercy. Soraya leaned forward, her voice soft but unyielding. You never showed mercy to anyone weaker than you. The market woman you pushed last month. The cleaner you shouted at. The junior staff member you humiliated in front of his team. You walked around like a king in a land you did not build. He looked down, guilt swallowing him whole. Soraya continued, your behavior today was the final straw. But even now, I'm not taking everything away. He lifted his head slightly confused. You will leave this company, yes. But I will not destroy your life. I've arranged a small severance package, enough to help you stand again if you choose to change. Daxon blinked rapidly. You're giving me money after everything? Yes, she said softly. Because justice and cruelty are not the same thing. One tear escaped her eye, but she wiped it before he noticed. Sign the papers, Daxon. He stared at her. The woman he underestimated, the woman he hurt, the woman he now feared and admired all at once. Then, with a shaking hand, he signed. His empire of pride collapsed with one stroke of a pen. After Daxon signed the documents, Soraya stood and addressed the board. Thank you all. I will handle the rest privately. The executives bowed and quietly exited the room, leaving only the estranged couple behind. Silence wrapped the chamber, heavy and suffocating. Daxon remained seated, shoulders hunched, face buried in his palms. Soraya took a slow breath and walked to the window, staring at the city she had built her dreams around. He finally spoke, voice barely audible. Soraya, do you hate me? She didn't turn. No, Daxon. If I hated you, this would have ended far more brutally.
I don't hate you.
I'm disappointed. He stood shakily. Is there any hope for us? She faced him, her eyes steady. Hope isn't given. It's earned. And right now you have nothing to offer except promises. Promises don't heal wounds. He stepped closer, but stopped when she lifted her hand. Go home, she said gently. Reflect. Rebuild yourself. Learn respect. Not because you want to please me, but because you want to become a better man. His voice cracked. Will you come home later? Soraya looked down, sadness crossing her features. I need time, Daxon. You need time. Our house is not a home right now. It's a battlefield filled with things we've never confronted. He nodded slowly, tears spilling freely. I'll wait, he whispered, even if it takes years. Soraya walked past him, opening the door. Before leaving, she paused. The woman you spat on today was the same woman who once prayed for your success. Remember that. She stepped out, leaving him alone in the dim chamber, a man stripped of pride, facing the ruins of his own actions. And as Soraya walked down the long hallway, her heart finally felt light, not because she had won, but because she had reclaimed herself. And please don't forget to tap the bell, so every new folktale reaches you first. Tell us in the comments what you think about the story. And tell us where you're watching from. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share this beautiful story with friends, family, and loved ones so they too can remember.